November is Doctor Who month. It is Doctor Who's birthday. However, October decided to pull one last awesome stunt for Halloween. Here is Sadie Miller, aka the daughter of the late great Elizabeth Sladen, dressing up as Sarah Jane Smith in Planet of the Spiders for Halloween. Absolutely the best costume that I saw this year. Massively appreciate Sadie for sharing this as well on her Instagram. So, that was on October 31st, but then November decided to be the big epic drop of the Whoniverse. This is the BBC iPlayer. The Whoniverse logo is here as well, and right now you've got the majority of classic Doctor Who on the iPlayer, the revival as well, the 6-part omnibus edits of those classic stories. Then there was the Talking Doctor Who documentary featuring David Tennant, the musical celebration, Doctor Who Confidential, and yes, these are not the cut downs. These are the full-blown half-an-hour versions with the licensed music, which I'm kind of surprised that they were able to get those, but I'm glad that they are here. K9 and Company, Dreamland, The Infinite Quest, Sarah Jane Adventures, Torchwood, Class, Dealey Derbyshire, The Myths and the Legendary Tapes, The Science of Doctor Who, hosted by Brian Cox. There's 3 episodes of Doctor Who at the Proms, and there's Who's Doctor Who from 1977. This has been edited to remove the Unearthly Child clips as well, however. Also, we did get confirmation that the upcoming collection box set of the original Russ T Davies era, Series 1 to the 2009 specials, will not contain Dreamland or The Infinite Quest, which seems a bit strange because the Steelbook releases of the 2009 specials that came out a few years ago, that did have these included, as well as the wedding of Sarah Jane Smith, so it does feel like we're getting less content than we're expecting from that box set. We also have no cover art for that. We've not had a look at the supposed upscaling that's being done to those episodes. We don't know if Confidentials. We're 3 weeks away from that release, and we still know very little about that box set, which is quite concerning. A few of the Confidential episodes are edited. To be fair, I have not gone there and fact-checked myself. However, the fact that they do have like 27 to 30 minute episodes of Doctor Who Confidential is a good sign. These are more substantial than the Confidential cut downs that we got in the home media releases. So we got the Whoniverse drop. Russell T Davies has confirmed on his Instagram that there is more to come. Sarah Jane Adventures, Torchwood Class, K9 Company Confidential, totally yes, totally Doctor Who, all the proms, brand new Tales of the TARDIS, animated stories, a vast, bristling Whoniverse just beginning to spread its wings, thanks to the vast teams who brought this together, and BBC Studios for the logo, music by Murray Gold, and we're not finished with the surprise. More treats to come before the specials arrive. Hahoo! Now, let's take a look at this Whoniverse logo proper. Where is it? Yes. So this dropped on the evening of Halloween as well. I won't play it in its entirety because I don't know to what extent this is copyrightable, but in this little ident, which is very similar to Marvel Studio stuff, we do get our first proper image, canonical image outside of trailers of Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor. We've also got, tucked away in the corner here, I may need to remove the live chat real quick so you folks can see in the corner, we've got Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday. We've also got above her Carol Ann Ford as Susan in black and white. That's important. And then here, for the O4 Who, we've got black and white Cybermen, black and white Kikillian. However, we do have at the top left here colour Daleks, and we do know that this is from a black and white story because these are the silver Daleks with the blue etheric beam locators. That's what the fans are going to go for. So I speculated at the time when this dropped, wait, is the colorization that there's been rumoured since the beginning of the year, is that actually the Daleks? Is it not an unearthly child? And then we got the confirmation a few days later, the Daleks will return in a spectacular colorization. The Daleks return, and this time in colour. It's time to encounter the Daleks once again, but this time in a way you've never seen them before. As part of the 60th anniversary celebrations of iconic series Doctor Who, one of the show's most renowned tales is undergoing an out-of-this-world update as it receives an artistic colorization. Originally transmitted in December 1963 to February 1964, the Daleks were introduced to audiences and soon became one of the Doctor's most formidable and enduring foes. The story follows the very first crew of the TARDIS as they land in a petrified forest on an alien planet. Determined to explore, the Doctor leads his companions into the Metal City, where they discover danger at every corner, and what will become his deadliest enemy, the mutant Daleks. These 7 original 25-minute episodes have now received a cosmic makeover, having been dazzlingly colorized and weaved together into a 75-minute blockbuster to appeal to today's modern audiences. Presumably, it's also going to be in portrait mode as well, so it can be put into shorts or on TikTok or something. That's the way to get into the youth, I suppose. With brand new sound, a brand new score created by Mark Ayers, The Daleks has been gloriously updated whilst ensuring the original classic story remains as thrilling as it was when it began in 1963. And whilst viewers can enjoy watching the colorized version of The Daleks when it arrives on November 23rd, on BBC4, it will also sit within the Whoniverse, where viewers can watch the 7-part story in its original form. So the 7-part version will still exist on the iPlayer as part of the Whoniverse collection. That's not going anywhere, but you can also watch this, and it will be broadcast on BBC4 on the evening of November 23rd. Phil Collinson, executive producer, said, "It's been my absolute pleasure to watch this past 12 months working with such a talented team to breathe new life into this classic adventure, a story that is literally the foundation stone of all that Doctor Who has become. The original is a masterpiece of 1960s television drama, and this new version stands on the shoulders of the pioneering spirit of 1960s Doctor Who. This special episode is one of many highlights set to commemorate Doctor Who's outstanding 60-year anniversary shortly before David Tennant takes back the reins of the TARDIS for 3 highly anticipated specials. Watch The Daleks in colorization on BBC4 on the 23rd of November 2023. This is a really interesting story. I think that it was kind of a no-brainer that the Daleks would be the ideal story to colorize, because you could be a bit abstract with the metal city, and of course the silver and blue Dalek designs are forever iconic with fans as well. They even appeared at the beginning of Series 9 in The Magician Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar. But I also think it's a smart move to condense that 7-part story, so that's like 2.5 to 3 hours long. And let's not forget, it's not like you're going to be losing an awful lot of great stuff by condensing that down to 75 minutes. The Daleks is a really good classic Doctor Who story, but it has a lot of fat that you can trim. For God's sake, about half an hour of that story is dedicated to companions Ian and Barbara trying to jump over a 2-foot gap in a cave. You can cut that and not lose anything of substance from the Daleks. And a shorter and more condensed and action-packed version in colour has already been done for the Daleks, specifically Doctor Who and the Daleks, starring Peter Cushing. I wonder if those will be on the Whoniverse at some point. Questions for later. But I think this is a really good choice of story. It's good to condense it, and I do think it's interesting as well that Mark Ayers, who is basically the audio wizard for classic Doctor Who has done many of the restorations for the animated reconstructions, is putting together some new music and restored sound for the Daleks. That's really interesting. We also got this little thread from Benjamin Cook, who was a former Doctor Who magazine editor. Actually, is he still the editor of Doctor Who magazine? I can't remember. Either way, he's a professional superfan. He has been editing this Dalek colorization as well, and he gave a few teasers in a Twitter thread. It's been the editing gig of a lifetime. 7 episodes, 172 minutes, down to a tight 75. We're losing around 100 minutes of Ian and Barbara trying to jump over a 2-foot gap, down to a tight 75. Scarier, funnier, more colourful than ever, with a couple of brand new scenes too. Can't wait for you to see it. Did you spot a snippet on the Whoniverse ident the other day? Aha, I did. Bring on the 60th. Oh, and controversially, we've called it the Daleks. Sorry to fans of the Dead Planet, even sorrier to fans of the Mutants, but it's always and forever Doctor Who in an exciting adventure with the Daleks. And apparently there will be some behind-the-scenes footage released, according to Benjamin Cook, in replying to Tinted Who on Twitter. So I'm really looking forward to this. This comes out on BBC4 on Doctor Who Day, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this could mean for the future of restoration and colorizations for Doctor Who as well. I think that some stories, for example, like The Tomb of the Cybermen and The 10th Planet, would look really good in color, but those stories, I think, gleam so much from the black and white cinematography, from the mood and the atmosphere, especially the 10th Planet, like the grayscale of the snowcap base and the Cybermen, those shapes ominously emerging from the snow in an environment where no living creature should be able to survive, but the Cybermen are still moving forward in the tundra. It's such wonderful imagery that works in black and white. I don't want to also say Daleks' Invasion of Earth or The Chase or something, even though stories like The Chase would be really good in colour because they're hopping to different places almost every episode, but you don't just want to inundate the Daleks with these restorations. You want to give other stories and maybe some other Doctors a chance. Something like the War Games as well, which is, is that 10 or 12 parts? I think the War Games is 10 parts off the top of my head. That definitely needs some truncating. People love the War Games, but my god, I don't care how good a Doctor Who story is. After 3 hours, I think you can start trimming the fat there. The Invasion would be good as well, but that's made complicated by the fact that 2 of those episodes are missing, and some of the missing episodes are pretty important ones plot-wise. Part 1 of the Invasion is missing. You kind of need that setup. You need those establishing scenes, otherwise the Invasion doesn't really work. Makes no sense. 10 parts, thank you for the correction. Yeah, War Games is 10 parts. I've not watched War Games in a long time, and I don't think I'm planning to watch it for a long time still. It's just too long, folks. It's just too long. Also, this evening, we've got the premiere for the press of the anniversary specials at Battersea Power Station. For those who are Doctor Who brained forever, Battersea Power Station is where on Pete's World the Cyber Factory was, because that's of course your only frame of reference for it. And also we got this brand new poster for the whole of the specials. We got ones for each individual one. I'm presuming that this might be released because they might be releasing the artwork for the DVD and Blu-ray sets that are coming out at the beginning of December. This is probably going to be the artwork that's on the front of it as well, because there's Beep the Meep there, there's the Celestial Toymaker in the background, there's the Wrath Warriors, there is Yasmin Finney there, getting some cover space, which is really, really cool. There's that weird puppet thing that we had that theory on a few months ago on the live stream, I forget their name. So yeah, this looks really, really cool, and the fact that they are doing a premiere this early in advance, I think that demonstrates quite a bit of confidence in the specials as well. Not saying that if you have a premiere a few days before, it means that you lack faith in it, but I think they are. I think it just adds an extra layer to it. It gives the press, the journalists, the critics who are seeing it this evening a bit of extra time to do their write-ups of it, because they really, really want to make sure that they get that they get this month right. Also, speaking of upcoming Doctor Who specials, Disney Plus today, a few hours before I went live, put this PNG on their Twitter feed for the season streamings. They've got the Cozy Classics, they've got the holiday episodes, seasonal shorts, etc. And the new Snow Rivals. We've got the Santa Clauses 2, we've got Dashing Through the Snow, we've got the Naughty Nine, etc. And then, down here, on Christmas Day, Doctor Who Holiday Special, The Church on Ruby Road. So firstly, I think that Bob Iger is going to need to up his security, because my god, Russ T. Davies is probably going to burn down the whole of the Disney Palace right now for leaking this official confirmation of the Christmas special title, as well as the broadcast date, because there's no way that they're dropping this on Disney Plus and then a few days later it's going on the iPlayer. This is definitely a Christmas special on Christmas Day as well for the BBC. 100%, no ambiguity here. And the fact that this was just casually dropped here on as a PNG on Disney Plus's Twitter is incredibly funny to me. However, the title, The Church on Ruby Road, as Flippant points out, we kind of already knew the title already, because there was a Reddit leak back in, June or July, that the title of the special would be called The Church on Ruby Road, and that leak also came with some pretty interesting plot developments, which I will not talk about here, because like I said, it is a leak, and maybe the title's right, but the rest of it was wrong. Who knows? But I know that a lot of fans were quite skeptical with those leaks, and maybe feeling a little bit deflated that this title confirmation might give that leak some sort of legitimacy. So I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to dive into it or explore the theory, but that's that. One second, there was something on Rusty Davis's Instagram I wanted to talk about as well. RTD will be typing Buffalo into the Navy's missile program. Yeah, 2 F's and 1 L. Nice. Right. 1 second, there was something on Russell's social media. And there it is, millions of episodes, Torchwood, Sarah Jane, Proms, Class, Who's Doctor Who, brand new Tales of the TARDIS, animated missing episodes, even Sharda is on there. Sharda! Wonderful. All subtitle and audio description and signed. Hundreds of people worked so hard on this. Enjoy. Oh, you know what is really cool, by the way? Friend of the live stream is Louis Morehouse, who you may remember. He's a blind musician who is also a massive Doctor Who fan, who spearheaded the charity campaign for Living Paintings for those Touch to See Doctor Who books. And I know that sometimes he's in the chat. Feel free to say hi if you are, Louis. No obligation, of course, though. But it's been so interesting going over Louis' tweets over the past few days because the new Whoniverse rollout means that Louis is able to, in a sense, watch the classic series of Doctor Who because there's audio descriptions now. And Louis is actually going through like a marathoning the classic series, starting from the Daleks and documenting his thoughts on it, which is really, really cool. If you go on his Twitter as well, just watch my first ever Classic Who episode, episode 1 of the Daleks, the Dead Planet. What a cliffhanger ending that was. But also, I love the world building that goes on in this one, on the planet itself, but also in the TARDIS with things like the food machine. It begins. And yeah, this is really, really cool. And this is why I think people are saying, oh, An Unearthly Child, you know, it's just on DVD, it's fine, it doesn't matter if it's on the iPlayer. Stuff like this is why I do think that a curated and maintained, a well-maintained catalogue of Doctor Who and just classic media in general, not just Doctor Who, almost anything that comes from a public service broadcaster is worthwhile to have. I wonder if they ever put Schalke on there, that'd be really cool. That scene in Creature from the Pit with the audio description. 1 second. Okay, chat, does anyone have the episode number and a rough timestamp for when that is? One of you's got to be out there with that timestamp. Someone's dedicated their life to it. But yeah, so classic Doctor Who. It was season 17, wasn't it? City of Death, Creature from the Pit. Which one is it, folks? There's 255 of you watching, and not one of you knows which one's the Creature from the Pit. Take that audio. I'll do that myself. It's part 3. Thank you, Jack. Thank you. So someone came through. Creature from the Pit, part 3. Audio described. Oh, there's also a sign language version. I won't play the footage because that's copyrighted. But I might get away with the audio description, or a brief audio description. 17 minutes in. Enjoy, ladies and gentlemen, the audio description of that scene from Creature from the Pit, Part 3.
He takes the end of one of the creature's short vestigial limbs. He blows down a nozzle in the end.
Yep, that's what he's doing. Yep.
Then tries speaking into it.
Yep, yep.
Hello, I am the Doctor. Friend.
That's more than friends. Oh my goodness. Oh, I know what would be really interesting. Really briefly, Genesis of the Daleks Part 1. Also, don't copyright claim me because this is for educational purposes. Let's go on the sign language version real quick. So yeah, we've got somebody sign languaging Genesis of the Daleks.
I will not tolerate this continual interference in my life.
Continual?
Now, genuinely though, this is actually really cool because one thing I've always wanted to do, I think great stun luck, or best stun luck, one thing I really would love to do is like just have a passing or just a really baseline knowledge of sign language. I always feel really bad when somebody who is deaf approaches me like with sign language, like asking for directions or help, and I can't help them. Sometimes they can read lips, sometimes they can't, but I kind of wish that I could at least like direct to like that way, 5-minute walk, toilets there, or something like that. Just like a baseline, like, you know, easy stuff, but I never really find time to do it, and I think something like this would be really cool. Right, what is Dalek in sign language?
Occasionally, not time before the Daleks evolved.
Do you mean
That Dalek? I don't know. The problem is that maybe he's a few seconds behind.
To return to Skaro at a point in time before the Daleks evolved.
Do you mean of...
Okay, so no, that means evolved when you, just at a single glance, you cup one hand into the other and then sort of like unfurl it forward. So what was Dalek? Because he's mouthing the words as well.
Time before the
Daleks
evolved.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what Daleks is. I don't know what... No, that was evolved. Well, you folks know clearly better than me. Look at the cliffhanger to part 4 of Genesis of the Daleks yelling, "You will tell me." Yeah, let's do that. Okay. But yeah, but genuinely though, it has been proven in studies that watching your favorite films in different languages helps you learn different languages. If you are so familiar with the material that is being adapted or transcribed or spoken in different languages, studies have shown that it helps.
Dalek defeat. You will tell me. You will tell me.
He is going mad. He loves this. Oh, I was hoping he'd react. Like, the cliffhanger happens and he's just like, oh, how is Doctor Who gonna get out of this one, kids? Dalek is the one pointing the finger. Okay, that'll be cool. Best get watching Mr. Tumble. Unironically, that might help. That might be good. Dalek is shorthanded by the sign for the letter D. Okay. Audio description of every trial of a Time Lord gone in zoom in clip. Okay. I hope that somebody with more patience and with a better sense of humour than me maybe does a best of compilation of the sign language interpreter for the Doctor Who universe. Doctor Who universe rollout. The Doctor is stunned.